I still remember the sound of my sister's scream that September morning. Not a scream of terror, but pure, unadulterated joy that pierced through our suburban home like a siren. I was 17, still groggy from sleep, when I stumbled downstairs to find her jumping up and down in our driveway, keys dangling from her fingers like a trophy. There it was, a brand-new Honda Civic, gleaming silver in the morning sun, with a giant red bow on the hood that looked like something out of a car commercial. My parents stood beside it, beaming with pride, their arms wrapped around each other as they watched their golden child celebrate her 18th birthday in style. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," my father called out, his voice carrying that special warmth reserved for my sister. "You've earned it with all your hard work in school." I watched from the kitchen window, my bowl of cereal growing soggy in my hands. My sister had always been the star, straight A's, student council president, captain of the debate team. She was everything I wasn't, and this moment crystallized that reality in the most painful way possible. The unfairness of it all hit me like a punch to the gut. My own 18th birthday had passed just 3 months earlier, marked by a modest dinner at Applebee's and a $50 gift card to Best Buy. No fanfare, no surprises, certainly no car. When I'd asked about getting a vehicle, my parents had launched into their well-rehearsed speech about responsibility, earning things through hard work, and the value of saving money. "Cars are expensive, son," my father had said, not even looking up from his newspaper. "Maybe when you get your grades up and show us you're serious about your future." But here was my sister, receiving exactly what I'd been denied, wrapped in a bow and justified by achievements that somehow made her more deserving than me. The message was clear. She was the investment, I was the afterthought. That morning, as I watched her take her first drive around the block, something shifted inside me. The seed of determination was planted, watered by resentment and fertilized by a burning desire to prove that I could achieve something spectacular on my own. I didn't know it then, but that moment would define the next decade of my life. I made myself a promise as I watched that silver Civic disappear down our street. One day, I wouldn't just have a car, I'd have my dream car. And I'd earn every penny of it myself, without anyone's help or approval. The journey would be longer and harder than I could have imagined, but it would also be entirely mine. College became my escape, but it also became my battlefield. While my sister cruised to campus in her Honda, I walked, took buses, and bummed rides from friends who pitied the guy whose parents forgot to buy him a car. Each step I took, each bus I caught, each awkward conversation asking for a ride, it all fueled the fire burning inside me. I threw myself into my studies with a vengeance that surprised everyone, including myself. Business administration wasn't glamorous, but it was practical, and I had a plan. While my classmates partied and complained about their student loans, I worked 3 jobs: cleaning offices at night, tutoring math during the day, and selling electronics on weekends. The dream car had crystallized in my mind by then, a Tesla Model S. It represented everything I wanted: innovation, success, and a middle finger to everyone who'd underestimated me. Every time I saw one gliding silently down the street, I felt that familiar pang of desire mixed with determination. My social life became non-existent. While friends went to bars and concerts, I was either working or studying. They called me obsessed, antisocial, even crazy. But I had something they didn't: a clear vision of what I wanted and an unshakable belief that I could get it. The first real test came during sophomore year when my laptop died 2 weeks before finals. I had exactly $847 in my savings account, money I'd been setting aside for my dream car fund. My parents offered to help, but their assistance came with strings attached: better grades, a more realistic major, and a promise to be more like your sister. I chose the hard way. I borrowed a friend's ancient desktop computer, spent countless hours in the library, and somehow managed to ace my finals. That $847 stayed in my account, and with it, my dignity intact. By junior year, I developed a reputation as the guy who'd work any job, take any shift, and never turn down an opportunity to make money. I was tutoring athletes, helping professors with research, and had even started a small side business buying and selling textbooks. My bank account was growing, slowly but steadily. The sacrifices were real. I missed birthday parties, skipped spring break trips, and watched relationships crumble because I was always working. But every dollar I earned felt like a small victory against the unfairness of that September morning when my sister got her car. My family didn't understand. Holiday dinners became tense affairs where my success was either ignored or dismissed as unhealthy obsession. My sister, now struggling with her post-graduation job search, would make snide comments about my money worship and how I was missing out on life. But I knew something they didn't. I was building something bigger than a car. I was building the foundation for a life where I would never again be the one watching from the sidelines, never again be the one whose dreams were deemed less worthy of investment. Graduation day arrived with the weight of 4 years of relentless effort. While my classmates celebrated with their families, I was calculating. My savings account had grown to $23,000, a small fortune by my standards, but still far from Tesla money. The Model S I wanted cost $89,000, and I refused to finance it. If I was going to do this, I was going to do it right. My first job out of college was with a mid-sized marketing firm downtown. The salary was decent, but I knew it wouldn't be enough to reach my goal quickly. So I did what I'd always done. I found a way to do more. I started freelancing on weekends, offering digital marketing services to small businesses. My apartment became my office, my kitchen table my desk. The breakthrough came 18 months later, almost by accident. One of my freelance clients, a local restaurant owner, was so impressed with the results I delivered that he introduced me to his brother, a real estate developer who needed help marketing a new luxury condo project. The contract was worth $15,000, more than I'd ever made on a single project. But it wasn't just the money that mattered, it was the door it opened. The developer's network included other high-end clients who needed sophisticated marketing strategies. Within 6 months, I was earning more from my side business than from my day job. The decision to quit and go full-time was terrifying, but the math was clear. I was closer to my dream than I'd ever been. My parents were horrified. "You're throwing away job security for what?" my mother asked during one of our increasingly rare phone calls. "Why can't you just be satisfied with what you have?" My sister, now married and driving a practical SUV, was more direct. "You're having a midlife crisis at 25. It's embarrassing." But I'd learned to tune out their voices. Every client I landed, every campaign I executed, every dollar I earned was proof that I'd been right to bet on myself. My bank account had grown to $67,000 by my 26th birthday. The dream was no longer a fantasy, it was a mathematical certainty. The work was consuming, but it was different from the grinding years of college. This was my business, my reputation, my future. I was building something that belonged entirely to me, funded by my own sweat and sustained by my own determination. Late at night, when I was alone in my apartment reviewing contracts and planning campaigns, I would sometimes pull up Tesla's website and configure my dream car. Every feature, every upgrade, every detail was planned out in my mind. I could practically feel the leather seats, hear the whisper-quiet acceleration, smell that new car scent that would represent everything I'd worked for. The goal was no longer just about the car. It was about proving that the 17-year-old boy who'd been overlooked and underestimated could achieve something extraordinary through sheer force of will. By my 27th birthday, I had $78,000 saved and a business that was generating 6 figures annually. I was so close I could taste it, but those final $11,000 felt like climbing Everest. Every dollar mattered now, every expense was scrutinized, every opportunity was crucial. The pressure was intensifying from an unexpected source, success itself. My business was growing faster than I could handle alone, and I was turning away clients because I didn't have the bandwidth. The smart business move would have been to hire help, expand operations, maybe even lease a proper office space. But every dollar I spent on the business was a dollar that didn't go toward my dream. I found myself working 16-hour days, surviving on coffee and determination. My social life had evaporated completely. I'd stopped dating, stopped going out, stopped doing anything that didn't directly contribute to my goal. Friends and family worried about my health, but I was too close to stop now. The breakthrough came through the most unexpected source: my sister. She'd been following my business's growth through social media, and during a rare family dinner, she mentioned that her husband's company was launching a new product line. They needed a marketing consultant, and she'd recommended me. The irony wasn't lost on me. The same sister who'd received the car I'd been denied, who'd criticized my obsession with money, was now helping me reach my goal. The contract was worth $12,000, exactly what I needed to cross the finish line. But taking the job meant swallowing my pride. It meant accepting help from the person who represented everything I was trying to prove myself against. For days, I wrestled with the decision. Would this taint my achievement? Would it mean I hadn't really done it alone? In the end, I realized that success doesn't care about your pride. I took the job, delivered exceptional results, and earned the money I needed. My savings account hit $90,000 on a Thursday in October, 7 years after my sister's birthday surprise. That night, I sat in my apartment staring at my bank statement, hardly believing the numbers on the screen. The boy who'd been deemed unworthy of a car had earned enough to buy his dream car twice over. The journey had cost me relationships, social opportunities, and countless hours of freedom, but it had also given me something more valuable: absolute proof that I could achieve anything I set my mind to. The next morning, I called the Tesla dealership. It was time to turn my dream into reality. The Tesla showroom felt like a temple to innovation, all clean lines and gleaming surfaces. I'd walked through these doors dozens of times over the years, sometimes just to sit in the cars and imagine what it would feel like to own one. But today was different. Today, I had the money. The sales representative, a young woman named Sarah, greeted me with a polite professionalism reserved for browsers rather than buyers. I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, hardly the typical Tesla customer uniform. But when I told her I was ready to purchase a Model S with cash, her entire demeanor changed. "Which configuration are you interested in?" she asked, suddenly much more attentive. I'd memorized every detail years ago: performance model, black exterior, black interior, autopilot, premium sound system, glass roof. The total came to $89,450, including taxes and fees. I'd been carrying around that exact figure in my head for so long that hearing it spoken aloud felt surreal. The paperwork took 2 hours. 2 hours to complete a transaction that had taken me 7 years to earn. I signed document after document, each signature representing thousands of hours of work, hundreds of sacrifices, and one unshakable determination to prove my worth. When Sarah handed me the keys, I felt an unexpected wave of emotion. This wasn't just about the car, it was about validation, about proving that the 17-year-old who'd been overlooked hadn't been forgotten. I was that kid, and that kid had just accomplished something extraordinary. The drive home was everything I'd imagined and more. The Tesla moved like a whisper, accelerating with the smooth power of pure electricity. The interior was a cocoon of luxury and technology, every surface designed with precision and purpose. But the most beautiful part wasn't any feature Tesla had engineered, it was the silence. For the first time in 7 years, my mind was quiet. The constant calculation, the relentless pressure, the burning need to prove myself, it all faded into peaceful satisfaction. I'd done it. I'd achieved my dream through nothing but my own effort and determination. I pulled into my parents' driveway that evening, the Tesla's LED headlights cutting through the darkness. My family came outside to see what the commotion was about, and I watched their faces transform from curiosity to shock to something that looked like respect. "You actually did it," my father said, running his hand along the car's smooth surface. "You really did it." My sister was quiet for a long moment before speaking. "I'm sorry," she said finally. "I'm sorry I didn't understand what you were doing. I'm sorry I called you obsessed. But I wasn't angry anymore." The resentment that had fueled me for so long had been transformed into something else: gratitude. Without that September morning, without the unfairness of her getting a car while I got nothing, I might never have discovered what I was truly capable of. As I drove home that night, I realized that my dream car had given me something more valuable than transportation or status. It had given me absolute confidence in my ability to achieve anything I set my mind to. The boy who'd been overlooked had become a man who could no longer be ignored. And the best part? This was just the beginning.